I'm going to make a quick video on how to tune your boombox so your speakers won't cut out. This is my boombox I created for my bike. There's other videos on it. And lately when I crank it up, the speakers will cut out. And when that happens, the battery starts blinking and I have to reset it. I have to open it up, pull the power, and plug it back in, and it's a pain in the ass. But I found out a way to tune your system so that won't happen. So these speakers won't overload and won't pop, and I could crank it up and not worry about it cutting out again. First off, there's a website you need to go to, and I'll put the link in the description below. But this just shows a quick, simple thing here to figure out the formula to figure out what you need to do. We need to figure out the voltage. So what we're going to do is just put in two other points of information. First, start with your wattage. That's your amp, how much this is putting out. This amp puts out 25 watts max per channel, so that number will be 25. If you could, I can't bridge this one, but if you could, then they would be two channels together, which is 50. So then you would have to put 50 in. So for this number for wattage, we'll put 25 since it's not bridgeable. And for the resistance on ohms, that one's easy. If you look on your speaker, the impedance is 4 ohms. So we put that second number as 4 ohms. And when you calculate it, that tells us our voltage is 10. That means we cannot go over 10, otherwise we will overpower the system. It will cut out and I'll have to reset this. So we need to get as close as we can to 10 volts without going over. Now there's a lot of things to mess around with on this. First off, you want to make sure your amplifier, if it has a gain control, which mine does, if you look down that switch on the right, on the right side there, above the connector, it says on. If you have a gain control, you want to turn that all the way down. Make sure your EQ is set to off. Turn off any kind of filters, any kind of loudness, stuff like that. But then the most important thing is you need to get a certain MP3, which I'll put links to. There's two of them. These are test sounds. There's one that is 1 kilohertz, and one is 50 hertz. And 50 is more for subwoofers. I found the levels are about the same for both. But if you just get the 1 kilohertz, and what we're going to do is that this provides a constant clean sound. And if you, to give you an example what it sounds like, if you hit play, that's all it is. But that we're going to use that to test our speakers here. Alright, so since you don't want to pop your speakers, the first thing to do is to unplug your speakers from your amp, so those aren't plugged in. It's just going to play this constant tone that's going to go through the amp, and then we need to measure that level. So next thing you do is you stick your multimeter into one of the channels. Remember, if this is bridged, you're going to have it connected and have the these test leads connected to the bridged unit. And the multimeter, you need to set this to the AC unit instead of DC, and this is a 750 or 200. Just knock it down to the 200. We don't need it that high. Just put it to the AC 200. And then you just come over and you press play, and as you can see, the number right now is 1.4. So then what you do here is you just slowly start turning this up. You turn up the volume, and as you do that, this number goes up. So what you need to do now is just crank it up and get as close to 10 as possible. So I might even be able to go just a pinch closer. Get closest to 10 as possible, and then at that point you will, if you go into the settings here, your volume limit, for an iPod at least, you could set the max volume. So normally I start off with 75%, crank it all the way up and see if this passes 10. If not, then monkey with this and try it again. And just keep doing that until you get it as close to 10 as possible. Once you're at that point, now you could crank up the music full blast and it will not pop your speakers because you will not pass the 10 voltage limit. I hope this helps somebody. Thanks.